Hello students, how are you? Hope you are fit and fine and safe at your places. Welcome to Samveda E-Class Learning. Today we are going to learn 7th standard social science class of civics. So let us learn a very glorious chapter, dear students, that is directive principles of state policy. So let us begin the class now. Here is an activity, dear student. The activity name is welfare scheme. Can anyone tell me the meaning of welfare? Yes? Okay. Welfare means it is the health and the care given to the people or persons who are facing various problems in their life. So might be health issues or financial problems. So do you get, students? Yes? Now your activity is, I'll show you an image. You have to recognize which scheme is this. It's very easy, dear students. Okay, shall we have a look on it? Yes, students, can you see a image over here? What you can see here? Are you finding it difficulty? Okay, no problem. I'll give you another image so that you will find it easy to recognize this scheme. Okay? Here it is. Now it's very easy for you students, right? Yes. Can anyone tell me what scheme is this? Very good. You will come across the scheme daily when you are at school, right students? This is a midday meals scheme. Okay? Midday meals scheme, it is a school meal scheme which is provided by our government for the student at a school during the working hours. So the objective of this scheme is to provide a nutritional food for the school children. Now let us move to the another scheme. Just recognize this scheme, dear students. Yes, can you recognize this? It's very easy. Yes, very good. It is the National Scholarship Portal Scheme. The objective of this scheme is to provide financial assistance to the school going children to meet a part of their day-to-day activity while pursuing the education. Do you get, students? Yes. So there are number of such schemes which our central and the state government have come up with. Not only for you students, there are number of schemes for various sections of the societies also, like women, there are old peoples, unemployed peoples. Here I'll question you, is this scheme are required? Are they important? Can anyone tell me? Yes. If yes, why they are important? Yes, students, this is what we are going to look into this chapter, that is directive principles of state policy, which tells us about the welfare of the people of our country. Shall we move? Here, students, before going deep into the class, I would first like to introduce you with the competencies this chapter is dealing with. Okay? So, at the end of this chapter, dear students, you will be able to understand the meaning and importance of the directive principles of state policy. Further, you will be also understanding the advantages of directive principles of state policy in establishing a welfare nation. It's a time now to begin the class. Are you ready, students? So, first of all, be ready with your pen and a book so that you can take down the important points which are necessary from this chapter. Directive principles of state policy. This is a very glorious chapter that we are going to deal with in today's class, dear students. So now, here students, a number of questions arises. Okay. So let us see what are those questions. First of all, what? Why? How? So these are the questions that we are going to deal with in today's chapter. So here it means, what is directive principle of state policy? So why it is required, why it is needed, and how it is enforced in our country. So in today's class, dear students, we are going to revolve around this question and find the answer at the end of this chapter. Yes, shall we move to the topic? Are you curious, students? Okay, let us begin the class. Here, first of all, let us see what is the meaning of directive principles of state policy. So, here this is nothing but what is directive principles of state policy. Here the constitution has directed the state to follow some principles in order to achieve the ideal welfare. This is called the directive principles of state policy. Further, the government are expected to keep these principles in view while administrating the state. In simple terms, I can tell you students, the directive principles of the state policy are the guidelines or the principles given to the central and the state government of our country to be kept in mind or view while framing the laws and policies. Do you get, students? Yes? Okay, one more thing. The directive principle of state policy have been mentioned in part 4th of our constitution from article 36 to 51, and it has been taken from the Irish constitution or the constitution of Ireland. Understood, students? Have any doubts? Shall we move to the next topic? Now we came to know what is the directive principle of state policy. Okay. Now let us find why do we need DPSP. Here DPSP is nothing but it is the short form of directive principle of state policy. Okay, let us have a look on this topic now. Here why we need is nothing but we are going to deal with the importance of directive principles of state policy. Students, why it is important? Okay, so let us see here. It is necessary to adopt this principle while legislating, formulating and implementing policies. So, directive principle of state policy is necessary while legislating a law or policy, formulating or implementing the law or policy. Understood? Yes. Further, the directive principle of state policy are important in achieving freedom, equality and brotherhood and establish the welfare state. The directive principle of state policy is also very much important in achieving the freedom, equality, brotherhood, the feeling of oneness and overall establishing a welfare state. Have any doubts here? We'll move to the next topic now. Let us see what is there, what is waiting for you next. Here, now let us see the list of directive principles of state policy. First is social justice. Second, social justice to the weaker section. Third, women and child welfare. Fourth, labor welfare. Fifth, aid to the helpless. Sixth, uniform code of law to all. Seventh, prohibition of liquor. Eighth, agriculture and association of animal husbandry. Ninth, protection of environment and wildlife. 10th, protection of historical monuments. And finally, international peace and security. So, now dear students, we are going to deal in detail one by one the directive principles of state policy. Let us have a look. Okay. Social justice. What is the social justice? Have any idea, students? Yes? Can anyone tell me what is the social justice? Okay, so we'll have a look into it. Let us move now. Social justice is nothing but to achieve the public welfare by providing social, economic and political justice to all. The constitution maker of our country have included this social justice, a guideline that is directive principle of state policy into our constitution. The main aim of this principle or guideline is to promote welfare to the people by securing social order through social justice, economic justice and political justice. So what do you think, students? What is this social justice? Yes, tell me. Yes, very good. You are very nearby to it. Social justice is nothing but everyone should be treated equally. Okay. no discrimination should be made on basis of religion, caste, sect and place of birth and many more things. Understood? Now let's come to the economic justice. What do you think, student? What is economic justice? Economic justice tries to reduce the gap between the rich and the poor. Here, no one is rich, no one is poor, no one is superior or no one is inferior. Everyone are to be treated equally. Further, economic justice also implies equal distribution of wealth and productivity among all the citizens of our nation. Understood? Let us see what is this political justice. Yes, come up with your answer. What is political justice? Here it implies that even the poorest poor of our nation, of our country, have the right to stand or contest for an election. No one can question him. Understood, dear students? Through this directive principle of state policy or guideline, the government of our country have initiated to bring the welfare of the people. Understood? Let's move to the another guideline. Let us see what it tells us. That is social justice to the weaker sections. Here, social justice to the weaker section. What it means, dear students? Weaker sections are the poor and the needy people of our country. The constitution maker of our India has included this guideline into our constitution. This is a fabulous work done by the constitution maker, including the social justice to the weaker section. Let us know what our governments have taken the initiative to provide or to promote welfare to this weaker section. Let us see now. It is intended to provide basic needs to the weaker sections. So what do you think, students? What might be these basic needs? Basic needs of human? Yes, food, shelter, yes, cloth and many things. So our central and the state governments have come up with or taken initiatives of providing food. Okay, I think you people have seen peoples are provided with the ration, right? Yes. So the central and the state government have taken up initiatives to provide the food in the form of ration through offering the BPL cards to this section of our society. Not only that, I think you people know that most of these weaker sections were living in huts. So the government of our country have taken up initiative to provide them with well constructed house, and not only that, even other facilities. Dear students, through this, there are number of facilities provided to them by our governments. So through this, the government is trying to provide welfare to the people of this weaker section. Understood? Have any doubts? Not only that, dear students, even the government have taken initiative to provide free education. Even the weaker section are also getting the education freely so that they can improve their status, right? So free and compulsory education is made for all the children in our country, right? So through that, even the weaker section have the opportunity to lead a good life through education. Let us see what is the next point waiting for us. Here it is women and the child welfare. What do you think, student? What might be this women and child welfare? Yes, very good. Earlier, women were facing number of problems. They were restricted under four walls, right? They did not had independent and they were dependent on others. But now the scenario has totally changed. Okay. Now you can see in every field, women are coming forward. They are given equal opportunities compared to men, right, students? So this have been possible only through the directive principle of state policy. So the constitution maker has also focused on this guideline principle that every state government have to follow while framing a law or a policy. So here let us see what we have under this. Equal wages to both men and women for the same work. Women are given equal wages for the same work. Maternity benefit to women. Prevention of exploitation of children. Facility for children to grow healthily in addition to providing free and compulsory education. Now one by one we will have a look into it. Here students, women are given equal opportunity at the working place also. Okay, see the image here. So this was early. Nowadays this have been changed, the scenario have been changed. Yes, recognize what it is. Yes, earlier women were given less pay, wage is nothing but salary. Okay, women were given less wages when compared to the men. The same work but less pay to the women, more pay for the men. Okay, now let us see this image. What can you find here? Yes, there is equality, right? There is equality between men and women. Okay, at workplace also nowadays you can see equal pay is given to both men and women for the equal work. Okay, understood? We can see women, they are coming forward in various fields equal to men, right? Now let us move to the another benefit given by our constitution, that is maternity benefits for women. So women are also provided this benefit, maternity benefit. This is nothing but after birth of a child, a woman, a government employee, she can claim for a maternity benefit also. Due to this directive principles of state policy, due to the guidelines and principles that are included in our constitution, women's status have improved a lot when compared to the earlier. Now let's move to the exploitation of children. So dear students, what you can see here, yes, what you can see, what you can get an idea here, what you recognize here, a boy who is carrying a bricks and his shadow telling something, that is, this is the age where he has to play but he is doing the work. What do you think? What do you get from this? Yes, so it is telling that child labor, okay, exploitation of children. So earlier we have witnessed number of child labor problems. Child labor is nothing but, hiring children for work, where at the age where they have to go for school. So I think you people have seen in many areas, in tea stall and all, they are hiring small childrens, right, at work. So do you think it is right, students? No, it is not right. It's a playing age. This is an age where he has number of desires of playing games or something else. So you can see here the image. This is an age of playing, right? But now what in the image he is doing? He is carrying the bricks, mean he is doing some work. So it is totally wrong. So our government has taken initiatives to stop this child labor and encourage the children for education and many other facilities. For that, number of schemes for improving the condition of our children, to bring a pleasant environment in the life of children, central and the state government have come up with number of schemes, like you have midday meals, as I told you. Next we have scholarship scheme. Not only that, even girls, they will be having Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana and as well Bhagyashree Yojana. So these are the schemes, welfare schemes that our government have come up with for the welfare of the children. So wherever you see such children, dear students, please encourage them come to school. Now let us see the labor welfare. Let us see what our government has taken the initiative to improve the status of labor. Here it is, right to work. So every citizen of our country has the right to work, dear students. Okay, a person can engage in the productive employment and any other employment according to his choice. No one can prevent him from doing that. Next we have conducive atmosphere to work. For the welfare of the labor, labor is nothing but worker. For the welfare of the labor, here the working conditions should be in a pleasant manner, dear students. Okay, a conducive and a pleasant atmosphere should be provided to the worker so that they can work happily at their working place. Understood? Yes. Now, minimum wages to workers. So, what is this minimum wages? As I told you, wages are nothing but the salary. Here, minimum wages to be given to workers. In some industries or some companies, working hours will be more, but less wage, less salary will be paid. So, that should not be done. Working wages should be given according to the work done by him at his work. Okay. Now, let us see another point, that is providing them opportunity to participate in the administration. Workers also should be given the opportunities to participate in the administration matters of the industry or company. Okay, like union workers. Have you seen the union workers, dear students? Yes, you can see here a picture. Now, aid to the helpless is another guideline or principle that the constitution maker of our country has included in the directive principles of state policy. What is this aid to the helpless? What it might be? Helpless. Yes, the word itself tells you. Helpless is nothing but the persons who need a support or help. For example, old peoples, the weak person, patient I can say. Next, unemployed person. Yes, let us have a look into it. The government of our country have come up with the initiatives to provide the old age homes for the old peoples. Okay, so to the welfare of the old peoples, the government has come up with the old age homes and many other facilities. Next, yes, for the patients, the government is providing the health facilities to the helpless. Next, let us see, even our government is trying to solve the issue of unemployment. Uniform Civil Code is another guideline. Okay, let us see what is this. It is nothing but one law for all. Okay, as it is mentioned here, it is one law for all. So, Uniform Civil Code means there is a single law to all the citizens of our country or the community. Understood, dear students? Prohibition of liquor. So, what do you mean by prohibition of liquor? Yes, okay. Here drinking is injurious to health, mean liquor is nothing but the drinks, okay, or intoxicant liquids. Okay, let us see what we have here. Drinking spoils the health. Is it not, students? Drinking obviously spoils the health. It is very bad. It is very injurious to health. It also leads to the financial problems in the family and increase exploitation of women and children. We can understand this point in detail by having a look into the images. You can see here, intoxicant drinks are harmful for health, and getting addicted to the liquor often causes problems in people's life. The problems like the issues, health issues. It also leads to loneliness. Nobody will support you. Then due to this consumption of liquor, there will be exploitation of women and children as well. Right, students? Yes? Shall we move to the next point now? Let's see agriculture and association of animal husbandry. So, here agriculture. So, here our constitution have included this guideline also, agriculture and association of animal husbandry. Let us see what it includes. The state government should make an attempt to organize agriculture and animal husbandry in a modern and a scientific manner. Okay. So, the farmer should be provided with a scientific and modern facilities. Further, in order to provide the unique species, prevent the slaughter of cattle, calf and other animals which give milk and pull heavy luggage. Now, let us have a look in detail. You can see your image here. Earlier, the farmers used to have an old method of cultivating the land, but now you can see the tractors on the field, on the agricultural land. So, our government has provided number of facilities or schemes for the farmers also to develop the agriculture. So, here animal husbandry. What do you mean by animal husbandry, dear students? Animal husbandry is nothing but the rearing of animals like cow, calf, goat, which are milk giving animals. So, the government has taken up initiatives to bring them in a good manner. Now, let us see protection of environment and wildlife. This is also another directive principle that are included in our constitution, dear students. So, we have to protect the environment, right students? We have to protect the environment. So, the government has taken number of initiatives, schemes to protect the environment like deforestation. Yes, so cutting of trees is not good, right? So, planting of number of trees. The government of our country has come up with the scheme of planting number of plants in order to protect the environment. Now, protection of environment from the industrial pollutions. The government also have taken the initiative to protect the environment from the industrial pollutants. Understood? Yes, in the same way as we are protecting the environment, in the same way even the wildlife should be protected in our country, and government have taken number of initiatives to protect this wildlife animals. Okay. Next is protecting the monuments and rich heritage. Okay. Government also has taken the initiatives and number of steps to protect the monuments, okay, and protect the culture heritage of our country. So, next directive principle of state policy is international peace and security. So, to be peaceful in our country, India, our country has to maintain a good relation with the other countries also, right students? So, you can see here participation of the country in safeguarding the international peace and security. It becomes important for India to maintain a good and a cordial relation with the other countries. Let us see the next topic, that is the difference between the fundamental right and the directive principles of state policy. Let us see what is the difference here. What do you think students? What might be the difference? Yes, here it is. Here in the fundamental rights, rights are given to the Indian citizens, whereas in the directive principles of state policy, these are the instructions given to the central and the state government. Here fundamental rights are justiciable, whereas directive principles of state policy are not justiciable. If fundamental rights are violated, a person can directly approach the court or law for justice, okay. But various directive principles, if it is violated also, no one can question it. Now, it is a time for recapitulation, dear students. In today's class, we studied about the directive principle, meaning of DPSP. Later, we saw about importance of the DPSP. Next, further we studied about the DPSP in our constitution, that is we saw about the list of DPSP which are mentioned in our constitution. Then we saw the difference between the fundamental rights and the directive principle of state policy, okay. Yes, now it is a time for an home assignment. Let us see. Yes, copy down these questions, dear students. Activity: list out any 5 schemes of government towards the welfare of the people. This is Fatima Anjum, and thank you so much.